So when you realize your potential and everyone around you realizes your potential, that's when you truly become a threat. That's when you realistically, you become a threat. So what do I mean by this? Well, let me tell you a story. So in my past life, I've held multiple jobs, but in my past life, I had a job as a sales manager for a dealership, and I was getting paid quite a bit of money. I was getting quite a lot, actually. And one of the things was I had a boss who was also the general manager for that dealership too as well. So I worked right underneath him. So a lot of the, first of all, even going into that establishment, one thing I have an eye for is inefficiency. When I see something is inefficient, I either clean it up, fix it, or I get rid of that inefficiency. That's just the way I work. My mentality works. So going into that particular establishment, I already knew what those inefficiencies were. One of them was communication between those departments. That was a huge thing. Another one was motivation within the staffs within those departments. And 3, lack of leadership. So those were the big things that I saw within that particular dealership. And right off the bat, I'm the kind of guy that I don't need a whole lot of training. I don't need a whole lot of verse. You don't need to teach me a whole lot of things. I just need to know the basics, and I'm going to hit the ground running. Every single, that's my approach, my attitude to every single thing I put my mind to. Give me the basics, give me the concepts, and I'm going to take it and run with it. So when I got to this, as soon as I got hired, got to this job, got trained up a little bit, got knowledge up a little bit, immediately I went to work. And now the particular problem this dealership was facing was the lot of cars that they wanted to sell wasn't getting put on the lot. The cars that were damaged, well, the body shop that we're partnered with paying too much, so they need to figure out how to make the cost work for them. 2, the salespeople, sales individuals weren't really performing as well as they really should have, so they didn't really have the right motivation. And the general manager, who was already there, almost was like kind of like an absentee kind of leader. You know, when you needed him the most, he was gone. He was gone off somewhere. You couldn't find him. So got to work on the first couple of inefficiencies that I saw. The minute I got there, boom, I solved the problem between not only the detail department getting the cars on a lot quicker, but also coordinating with our service department team to make sure that everything the workflow flows the proper way. And within 2-3 weeks, all of a sudden there were more cars on the lot. There were things moving. We were selling more. We were moving. What this basically did was showed my direct hire, my GM, it showed him up, because he's been there prior a couple years and they still were facing the same problems. And he was in his mind telling the boss and things like that, the owner of the particular establishment, that, you know, the blame was on the salespeople, or the blame was on the service guys, the inefficiencies, and he's been trying and stuff like that. So it's like, how did this guy, mind you, younger than you, come in, all of a sudden these problems are all of a sudden gone? So what is the owner going to start doing? Well, he's going to start looking at his GM a different way, because it's like, I've had you and I've been paying you for almost 2-3 years, and here's this kid coming up and he's showing you what your job he's doing it better than you can. And at that point in time, for me personally, I didn't even realize that, you know, I had that potential. Right? I didn't even realize I had that potential to go into establishments and do stuff like that. I was just doing me. If you really think about it, for me just realizing that, I'm doing me. I come in and I see something that needs to be worked on. I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to get it done. And that's how I've gotten to the position I am in today. I get shit done. So I didn't realize that about myself at the time until some fuck shit started to happen. So all of a sudden, you know, the GM that was on my side, because mind you, I don't play these games. I don't like to play games. That's not me. The GM that was on my side all of a sudden started having stuff questioning my loyalty, quote unquote, which for me, that's weird. I mean, my loyalty is to the business, and my loyalty ain't to you. We don't even hang out like that. I don't even know you, so I ain't loyal to nobody but the business, because they pay me. Okay, so he started doing stuff with loyalty. Then he started doing some you know, these weird passive aggressive type of things where, they're calling you out, but they're not overtly calling you out. And essentially this particular manager started setting up traps for me, so that way it makes my track record start to look bad. Traps like, hey, you know what? Let me feed the service department a different information than I feed him, and then confuses him and trips him up, and then he makes a error in terms of judgment. And it happened so much that finally I had a couple meetings where I got called with the owner, and the owner sat me down. He was like, look, man, you got a lot of potential, and you wouldn't be here if you didn't have that potential. But like some of the stuff that's going on that I'm seeing, I'm hearing from the GM, let's make sure we figure out a way to straighten that out. In my mind, I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? What's going on? Like, yeah, I got the potential. I appreciate you seeing that in me. And at that point in time, up until that point, I really didn't even see it in myself until he pointed that out. But I'm like, well, first of all, I need to make sure, why are we even having this meeting? And why is the person who's responsible for you and me having this meeting right now not present? Because I would like to talk to him with you being the mediator to try to figure out what's going on so we can get to the bottom of it, so we're all on the same page. I want to be here. I want to support the company. I want to make sure that we clean up certain some of these inefficiencies. So as time went on, after that meeting, it actually kind of opened my eyes a little bit to the passive aggressive nature of this particular general manager, and eventually it actually kind of angered me. I got pretty angry. I got pretty freaking angry. So angry that I let my emotions take control. Now, what ended up happening was he pulled some more fuck shit. And this one was so overt that even I couldn't freaking ignore at this point. We had a meeting where we're supposed to submit a situation report for some of our sales team, our sales individuals. So basically seeing where they're at with some of their deals, which customers they're currently working with, what we can do to get the customer in the door, and then put that particular deal together so we can make the sale for the company. And I had that particular meeting, and mind you, it was a fresh day, brand new day. I'm coming to work and do what I got to do. So during that meeting, I sat with, as soon as we got the email for the boss, I sat with my sales team, collected the numbers, collected the game plan, what it was to do, and sat in the office of that particular general manager. And we talked about the salespeople. We talked about what we're doing in the game plan for it. Perfect. We're all good. Everything's all aces. Then, about an hour later, I get an email CCing the owner onto this email saying, hey, Drew, I never got your situational report. I never got that information. You never turned it into me, and I just want to make sure we get that information. And by the way, is everything okay? I read the email. I'm like, okay. Like, you acting like I did not just sit in the office with you for like 15 minutes going over it. I emailed you. I didn't email you. We sat down. You didn't get an email from me because you got the paperwork in person. We sat in person and did it. And then why are you asking me if I'm okay? I was fine when we had that meeting, weren't we? And then I realized, oh, this is a setup. And I let my emotions get the better of me. And what I mean by that is I didn't go out screaming and yelling and all that nonsense. I literally walked straight up to the dude and said, what the fuck are you doing? What is this? Right? So the moral of the story is it basically when I acted that way, he basically got that ammunition he was waiting for. And essentially that particular owner made his decision on it and said, well, you know what, Drew, and I understood it from a business perspective. I understood it because as a general manager, he was still getting paid way less than me. So if anything, I was still a pretty expensive employee, if you put it that way. And because I was an expensive employee, he made the choice to keep what he already had. Sorry, I'm charging this real quick. To keep the employee he already had, even if he was ineffective, because he's saving that money. But what that general manager would manage to do was convince the owner that because of that outbreak I had, I became a liability. And am I the person who you want to invest that kind of money in and potentially have something in the future happen? And the moral of the story is you have to understand, once you have that potential, once you realize your potential, once other people start to see what you particularly are capable of, you become dangerous. You become very dangerous. And they will do what they can to get you up out of there to save themselves. A lot of you guys right now don't realize what your potential is. Don't realize that your potential is greater than what you actually know. And there are people right now whose mission is it is to wake up every single day to convince you out of your dreams and out of your potential and how far you can go. That is the reality of the world. Every single day you wake up, without you even realizing this, there's someone else who's awake, and their sole job is to convince you that your potential isn't there. Now, let's tie it to something relevant. Let's tie it to a lot of the demonstrations we see going on right now. You don't think they see your potential? You don't think they already see it? You don't think so? So when we all gather in mass and all those things like that, you don't think that they see the potential, but your potential, and how dangerous that can be when you have two groups of people who they try to keep divided and separate to not realize the common problem. And the common problem is you're both economically disadvantaged against a certain class of people. And once you realize that truth and you band together, all of a sudden that's dangerous. That is very dangerous, because now you're united against the common enemy, the real enemy, the real enemy that's been subjugating you. So what are they going to do? They're going to do what they can to sabotage whatever movement you have going on, to make sure that they put you and your potential against each other. So you guys fight amongst each other, further not realizing what the hell is really going on. And that's the truth of it. Once you realize your potential, once you all realize what you're capable of, they will put maybe agent actors, agent provocateurs within your midst, so they can steal that narrative, that potential from you, and turn it into something else. Turn you against your fellow man. Turn your struggles against each other. They will use that. And that is the real threat that a lot of us don't see right now. And if we act out of emotion rather than wisdom, and what is wisdom? Wisdom is understanding the spiritual self and combining it with the logic of the mind. You gain wisdom from it, because there's certain things your body and your gut's going to tell you that's going on that you yourself, your mind, your brain isn't going to be able to pick it up unless it's thinking and it's connected with your spiritual. Then you will see and you will have the answers of what's going on and who the true enemy is. Again, I say, once you realize your potential, because other people around you, there are other actors that see what you guys are capable of. But once you finally realize it, that's when you become very dangerous. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because it's something that, even a journey I've gone through life, I've been through a lot of shit, man. I've been through a lot of shit. I've been there, which is crazy, because I'm relatively young. And it's one of those things where I've been through some shit and I've seen what's going on. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, all right, this is a different game now. And this is how I need to play this game in order for not only my well-being, but to make sure I accomplish what I'm here to do. And as long as I know that can nobody on this planet stop me from doing what I am here to do, can nobody do that unless I stop myself. Unless I buy into the fear, I give into my emotions, I give into those feelings that are suppressing me from fully realizing what I'm capable of. That's when I truly stop myself. But in the end, only me can stop me. And what I'm here to do, what you're here to do, no one else is gonna stop that but you. So the sooner you realize your potential, not only the more dangerous you become, but the more effective you become. And that's pretty much it. I just want to throw that video out there. And I really hope a lot of you guys take this time to start looking within yourself and start connecting that logical brain of yours to that spiritual body of yours, because it's there. It exists and it's always been there. Connect those two things together and you will find your answer you're looking for. You will find the way. And that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys.